Step on it. You got a warrant.
Don't. You said stop, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it.
The moment that the video froze there, that's when the fatal shots were fired. Right there. That was the moment. We're not going to show that to you or play that for you, but right when that video froze, that was the moment. Let's bring back in the think tank. Al Wunsch, I'll start with you. Did we just witness a crime?
It was a big mistake, and it was certainly a manslaughter event that would be criminal. I mean, it's unfortunate to say that because, the police officers are trained to keep the taser on their non-dominant hand. It's supposed to be, if you're a righty, it would be on your left side. And so that this way here, you're not reaching for your service weapon on your right. And I don't know how she grabbed the wrong weapon unless she was wearing it on her right side. And not only did she, obviously she killed this young man, which is a tragedy, but she could have killed one of the other police officers because they're not expecting her to fire a service weapon. And the officer on the other side of the car is lucky that the bullet didn't go through and kill him or at least wound him. It was a terrible tragedy. As I said before, I know as a person who represents the police, a situation like that should never happen because you know which side that weapon is on, and it should always be on the non-dominant hand. So it is certainly manslaughter. It's no different than shooting an arrow in the air and landing in someone's chest. It's reckless behavior, and it's criminal.
And I'll disagree with the mistake. I believe in this case, fear superseded her judgment and experience. 26 years as a law enforcement officer, there's no way that this should have ever happened. As far as it being a mistake, to me, this is clearly homicide. It should have never happened. We're not talking about a rookie cop. And on top of that, it was excessive force. This was a traffic stop. He was not posing a threat to the law enforcement officers. What she should have done if she wanted to pull out her taser, wanted to pull out her gun, was shoot at the tires so that the vehicle couldn't get away. But as far as
you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. We're not on the movie. We're not in Hollywood. You don't shoot out tires.
Okay, well then let them go.
That's probably the most dangerous thing you could do on a vehicle is shoot out tires so he careens into another side and kills somebody on the opposite end of traffic. You can't
I'd rather
do
the
that.
tires to be shot out.
The bottom
than
line,
the
lesson to be learned is like what my Uncle Nunzio has said time and time again. You can beat the charge, but you can't fight the ride. And once you do that, you put yourself into that kind of a predicament that required her to grab a taser. She called out taser and she had the wrong weapon and she killed this man. She'll pay for it, but it's not a homicide. It's a manslaughter at the absolute worst.
I think it could be a homicide, definitely a manslaughter. And I defend police officers too. Seattle, Portland, Bellevue, King County for decades. But this looks different. It's not just it should be in a different place. This is not the same feel of a gun. She may say taser, 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 but those are two entirely different things. I think it's definitely a crime, and I do defend cops. But this one, I just could never get my head around. How did this happen? How could she make this quote-unquote mistake? How do you call it an accident? It's very, very troubling.
Well, it's definitely an accident. She called out taser. So she was expecting to fire the taser. Now, with the adrenaline pumping and things along those lines, she made an error. I'm not saying it's not a criminal act. I'm calling it manslaughter. Okay,
Right,
I'm
yeah,
saying she's
I get that.
responsible for it. She should no longer be a police officer. She should be terminated. She resigned, but I mean, if she didn't resign, she should have been terminated from the force. And she's going to do time for manslaughter. So it's not like I'm saying, give her a little slap on the wrist.
No,
we all
I
go
know, but
home.
I mean, she killed
The fact that it's a
somebody.
mistake, the fact that it's being labeled as a mistake is what's egregious here. Again, I go back to the experience that this law enforcement officer had. I go back to the fact that a taser was even necessary. As you see,
I go back to being human beings.
There was another
I go
cop
back to
that
being a
was
human
there that
being.
was there was another cop
I
that
made a
was there that
mistake.
was de-escalating the situation. Yeah, we all make mistakes, but when you are trained as a law enforcement officer, you can't claim mistake for something that a taser weighs differently, is a different color. And again, there was another law enforcement officer there that was de-escalating the situation. She came out of nowhere and escalated the situation. A taser was not necessary at that moment. That wasn't a mistake. That was clearly a homicide.
Well, let's from what we see, okay, he's struggling. He's fighting with that. Okay,
There's no
he's
struggle.
getting into the car. Okay, I don't know. You're not there. You're not making the split-second decision. Okay, your life is not in danger. You don't know what's going to go on. She
That makes
calls
it
out
worse.
Taser. She calls out Taser, okay, and hits him with the taser. Thinks that he's going to be hit with the taser. She fires the weapon. As I've said time and time again, she is certainly wrong. What happened here is a tragedy, and it's a terrible thing, but it is a mistake. She did not get up this morning saying, I'm going to kill somebody. Okay, she had no intent on killing him. Okay, but what she did was dangerous and reckless. Okay, as
And
I said before,
unnecessary.
the same thing
Unnecessary.
as shooting an arrow in the air. You shoot an arrow in the air, it has to land somewhere. If it happens to land in Vinny's chest, God forbid,
No.
that's manslaughter.
Okay, I think we all agree. Criminal. The question is going to be to
Criminal.
what level of criminality,
Right.
and that's what the trial's all about. Check it out. That trial's happening this year, folks. This year, December 6th is the trial date for Kim Potter out in Hennepin County out in Minnesota. We'll keep an eye on it. When we come